Welcome, everybody, to the Stone Down Sports Podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you tonight. It is finally here. We are in championship week, and who better to help you prepare for that than us?
Yes.
As always, I'm flanked here by these two experts, Kyle and Ramey. Ramey, even though you and I don't have a team in the championship, and I likely should, but we're not going to continue to beat that dead horse.
Yeah.
This is what you do it for. It's put up or shut up time. It's time to go get paid.
All the bragging rights are on the line. Like you said, flags fly forever. So this is the week. If you're in it, do whatever you can to try to get a victory, whether that means something unconventional or sticking with what you've been rolling with all year that's made you successful. So don't be afraid to take chances. And there's a lot of injuries this week too. So some of those guys that may have gotten you there may not be available or may be limited. So it's best to keep that in mind too. Keep an eye on the injury reports as we get closer to Saturday, even tonight, and then Sunday slate of games. So it's not the time to sit back and hope for the best. You want to be active and you want to make sure that you're making the right moves to try to get yourself that championship so you can brag all summer long. So,
yeah.
Kyle, how are you doing tonight? No swears.
Doing great. Now I'm trying not to. You mentioned I'm also not in a championship week either. So all three of us suck. I guess.
Yep. We suck.
Hi, we're experts that suck. I am helping my brother with his team. He's in championship week. I was just on the phone with him before the podcast. I got to look at a few things and maybe I can get him his first championship before I get myself a championship.
That'd be amazing.
Right. I mean, yeah, this is what you do it for. You know, of all the unimportant things in life, fantasy football is the most important. You know,
right. This is Dungeons and Dragons for football fans.
All right. Yeah, exactly. We got Captain Spock in the chat. It's championship week. Time to kick some major butt. Put on the steel-toed boots. Yep.
Time to stomp a mud hole and walk it dry.
And Supersonic Loudboy in the house again. Go Blue. So excited. Monday, 5:00 Eastern. I am so ready for that game. I know.
Yeah, got a big game coming up. They're what, 1.5-point favorites?
Is that what it is now?
Question.
I haven't looked in a minute. I haven't looked in like.
I believe that's what it was.
1.5, eh?
Last I checked.
I don't hate it.
Yep. Total of 45.
Yeah.
You think that'll go over that total, or do you think it's going to be like a 24-20 kind of game? I think it's going to be a close game.
I think it'll be close to Michigan's defense, though, dude. Like, they've been shutting everybody down all year.
Yeah. Alabama's kind of playing with house money, though, so.
Yeah, they are. They got gifted their spot.
Yeah. The thing about the Wolverines is they haven't seen a quarterback like Milroe this year. So we'll see how they do with him. It's gonna. I mean, he's not super great, but God, he's gifted. He can do a lot of things that we just have not fucking seen. So, let's roll into it. Bam!
We almost made it.
Oh, hold on.
What you got? Oh,
Tilly coming to us from Twitch. Please help.
Please. Shit! Damn it! I don't know what happened.
I know what happened. I'm in the championship, and Russ is being sat. Jarrett Stidham, Flacco, Tyrod, or Jake Browning. He needs two.
Oh, man.
God, yeah, Tyrod did look better, but against the Rams, I don't really like him. Definitely Flacco, right?
Against the Jets?
I don't care.
I don't know.
I don't care. The way he's been throwing the ball. Wow. I mean, all four of those aren't great.
Yeah.
I'm just trying the best two.
But...
I'm just trying the best two, and I still think Flacco will throw the ball 40 times.
No Cooper.
I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to put it up that much just because the way to beat the Jets is on the ground. I think this, Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt are going to be showcased tonight. Jarrett
Amari
Stidham
Cooper's
is kind of intriguing.
Jesus.
Going up against the Chargers at home. He looked halfway decent in limited time last year with the Raiders. And then Jake Browning against Kansas City. I don't really want to, especially on the road. Tyrod. So he's going to be the starter for here on out. And, you know, Tommy DeVito had his little run. He's looked serviceable, but yeah, none of these are really great. I'm going to go with Stidham and
he has Brissett as another option too. That change your mind. I didn't even know Cooper was out. So
I didn't either.
Yeah,
he is. I just
I just looked. He's out.
Yeah.
Brissett has looked competent over the past couple weeks.
Well, let me tell you a story about Jacoby Brissett.
Oh God.
He will look competent for a couple of weeks, and then he will not look good at all.
Just needing to be competent one fucking week.
Yeah.
Presumably 1 week.
Yeah, against the Niners defense.
So I say I'm going to go with Stidham for sure. Jake Browning, I'll take if Chase plays. If he doesn't play, I'll start Tyrod.
That sounds like a good plan.
I mean, it's
That's
making the
about all
best
you
of a
can
bad
do.
situation, I
Yeah.
think.
And I'm sorry. Yeah, I said Flacco right away. Didn't care about the Jets, but I did not know Amari was out until 2 minutes
Boy,
ago.
that makes somebody's deuce pick look a lot better than it did earlier today.
Yeah. Good luck, Tilly, with your matchup. Thanks for joining us through the Twitch there. If you give us a follow on there, we'd really appreciate it. Good luck, man. Kevin, aka Dizzle. What's up, man? He's got Brees and Cleveland's defense in full PPR, followed by ARSB, Laporta, CeeDee on Saturday. 5 guys before Sunday. Let's go. How do we feel about Cleveland minus 7.5 tonight?
Well, it's down to 6.5 on DK right now. But when you have a game with such a low total, I'm very hesitant to lay that many points.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that Amari Cooper is out, and I imagine that's why the line moved there a little bit. That's still a big nut to cover against a damn good Jets defense.
I'm gonna disagree with you. At 6.5, at 7.5, I was hesitant, but now that it's under a touchdown, this feels like it's going to be like a 17-3 type of game. They're just going to get through and they're going to win. I don't think the Browns are going to score a ton of points, but the Jets can't score anything unless they're playing the Commanders. And they're not playing the Commanders tonight. They're playing the Browns defense. I don't think it just went back up to 7. Somebody must be listening to me.
Yeah.
Ramey's moving the market.
Yeah. No, at 7, I don't like it all.
No.
I would bump that down to 6.5, and then I'd be much more comfortable with it. I don't think the Jets have the ability to keep it within a touchdown offensively. Defensively, sure. And I do think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I think it's going to go over a touchdown.
What do you think, Kyle?
It's going to be a close one. This could be 13-10. Cleveland.
I think if I'm doing anything, I'll bet the under and stay away from that line.
That's a good point.
It's a good question, though, Kevin. What are your thoughts?
Well, he's getting some thoughts. Captain says Cleveland is ranked number 1 expert consensus rankings this week on
Fantasy Pros.
Fantasy Pros, got to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lions. While we're waiting, I'm excited. It's the only Saturday game, night game on the road in Dallas, and they're really Dallas is just so damn good at home. You know, I love the Lions in this game, but I worry.
I don't.
I worry.
I think they're going to go into Dallas, and I think they're going to win. This is their year. And just kind of looking at the game, one of the matchups that really stuck out to me is ARSB in the slot going against Jordan Lewis. He is going to abuse the shit out of him. the Cowboys play man like 63, 64% of the time, and they've kind of been mid-pack against wide receivers here as of late. I think he is going to do fantastic. Not a fan of Laporta, though, on the other side this week. Marquise Bell has been amazing in coverage this year, and I think that Laporta is going to have his work cut out for him. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't know how I feel about it going over 52.5. I think I would go under that, and I think Detroit squeaks one out.
I'm curious how you got Dallas playing man 60-some% of the time. I got them like 42% of the time and cover 38% of the time. Curious where you're getting your stuff from. Where I'm getting.
So while you guys are figuring that out,
I'm like, it's a big difference. That's all I was wondering.
Dallas is a different team at home, as everybody's talked about. They score 38 some odd points at home, as opposed to just over 21 on the road, I believe. And the Detroit secondary, we've hammered it all year long. Dak's probably going to have a really good game. The matchup I'm curious about is Monty and Gibbs against that Dallas run defense. Unless Dan Quinn decides to move Micah Parsons over to middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker spot on first and second down to try to help with the run. Jonathan Hankins is still out for the Cowboys. They can't stop a nosebleed on the ground, and I think Gibbs and Monty are going to feast on that. And that's why I think it could potentially be under, because Detroit's going to look to run the ball and kind of control the clock, just because that's the weakness of that Dallas defense.
Absolutely. And when Detroit's line is fully healthy, they're the best offense in the league. Yep. Period. I think the way to beat Dallas is on the ground. You're right. Love Monty, love Gibbs. And here's the thing, even by keeping the ball on the ground and keeping the clock running, they're still a big play offense. They bust off chunk runs every single game. And Kyle, I dropped the link to my information there in the private chat.
Okay, then I'll check that out.
He cited his source.
Alrighty. Man, they're still split there. Like Monty, since the week 9 bye, 111 touches, Gibbs 101. It's still split. They're both electric. Monty's probably gonna, got more touchdown upside, but God, Gibbs, he's just got showcased. He showcases a ceiling for fantasy, a lot of weeks, and you're just amazed by how fast he is.
Maybe you guys know this because you certainly follow the Lions a lot closer than I do, but I wonder if how they worked Gibbs into the offense was by design this year, by not using him a whole lot at the beginning of the year so that he wouldn't hit that rookie wall and that he'd be fresh at this time of year. Because we talked about it on Tuesday. After Monty got hurt and after Gibbs came back from his injury, he really took off, and they are using him a hell of a lot more than they did at the beginning of the season. I wonder how much of that is by design, and they thought, we'll ride Monty these first 3 games while we kind of ease Gibbs into the offense. And then once he's comfortable and he feels the NFL game, we're going to set him loose.
I got to imagine a lot of that is by design. You look earlier in the year, he was 7-8 carries, except for the Atlanta game when Monty was out and he had to start. He missed a couple games with injury. But when he come back, he's been a consistent anywhere from, 11, 14. He had 26 carries in the start against Vegas when they're on Monday Night Football. So look, he's shown he can handle it thus far. He's not the biggest dude in the world. He, 5'9", about 2 bills. But he's so quick and so electric and so fast. He's one of those dudes that can make you miss in a phone booth, and the next thing you know, he's just gone.
Yeah. Yep. If Detroit's offensive line is healthy, I know somebody was off yesterday. Decker or something was out and didn't practice, but as long as they're good, they've kind of Chicago and Minnesota, they ran successfully against them. Those are 2 teams that have kind of stoned the run this year, or at least recently. Chicago's defense has gotten so much better. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on Dallas.
I think so too.
I don't think it'll be 200 yards, but I think they'll be able to run the ball.
Just for you fantasy owners, not that you would even consider benching CeeDee Lamb with this matchup, but he's averaging 104 yards and 7 touchdowns in 7 home games this year. So he is he's good anywhere you play him, but he's really good at home, and as is Dak, and that's part of the reason why they score so many points when they're at home.
Dude, I don't give two shits where they play. CeeDee's going for like 202. It just that's the state of Detroit's secondary right now. It is what it is. That's how you beat Detroit is through the air because you're not going to do it on the ground.
Yeah, and CeeDee needs 3 catches to break Michael Irvin's team record of 111 for the season. So,
nice. But how many hookers has he been caught with?
Well, he's still got a ways to go on that.
Since the week 7 bye for Dallas, Lamb leads all receivers in targets per game at 12-1, second receptions per game 8-3, and second receiving yards per game at 105.4.
Yeah,
he's good.
He's had a touchdown in 7 straight games.
Yeah, we got Kevin in here again. He thinks Cleveland's going to win and cover. Just can't see the Jets doing anything. Wilson's going to get doubled, and Brees is going to get the box stacked. He's explosive. He gets a lot of dump offs, and that's right. He had just, what was it, like 12 grabs last week or just something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, props to Trevor Siemian for getting the ball to his playmakers. So,
yeah. Kevin said that was a dirty hit on Hawkinson last week. Who was that? Kirby Joseph or something? Or Jerry Jacobs?
So.
One of those two. He did hit him low there, took out his legs. And the hit definitely caused the injury.
Oh, for sure.
I won't use the word dirty. Of course. I don't really like TJ Hawkinson anymore because he bashed the Lions on his way out the door. So sucks to be you. Karma's a bitch.
It's easy to do. He thinks Dallas is going to win by a TD. They're elite at home. You're absolutely right. They are elite at home. Detroit's just, they're on a mission right now. And I think this is where they kind of get over the hump and they silence some doubters. They bookend the season with huge wins on the road. They opened in Kansas City and won there, and they're going to come here in week 17 into Dallas and show them how we play football in the Motor City.
And I like Ferguson this week too. He's a tight end that you're definitely starting against Detroit. He's had 8 targets in the last four consecutive games. That's volume. You need it. The only tight ends with more targets in the last 4 weeks are Evan Ingram and Njoku. So, and Detroit's 21st in yards per target. They got a 23rd in touchdown rate to tight ends. They allow almost 53 yards a game to tight ends, 22nd in the league. He could score. I don't want him to, but he definitely could.
Fire up all the Dallas pass catchers. If you've got to run Brandon Cooks out there, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, switching gears. Raiders at Colts. Raiders at Colts, Ramey.
Yes, here we go. Oh, geez. So, Indy's coming off a loss against Atlanta. Raiders are coming off that big victory on Christmas Day against the Chiefs. The Raiders defense has been the best defense in the league since Antonio Pierce has taken over. They're only giving up about, I think it's 13 points a game. So, it's 15. I'm sorry. I can't read my own writing. So, but that defense is legit. The key for the Colts, do not turn the goddamn ball over. Score 17 points, and you'll probably win the game. So it's really, Gardner Minshew loves to turn the ball over. We've talked about it. He holds onto the ball a little too long, and he's very up and down as all year long. Jonathan Taylor's looking healthy. Michael Pittman practiced today. Braden Smith, the right tackle for the Colts, was a full participant in practice today. So they are getting a little bit healthier. They lost Justin Blackmon, their kind of standout 4th-year safety, who's finally playing up to his potential. So they lost him for the regular season. So they've got Nick Cross playing in there. So the secondary is susceptible, but again, that's kind of the weakness of the Raiders. They've got Aiden O'Connell, who is having a decent rookie year, but he's a 26-year-old rookie who's throwing just over 60% completion percentage. He's got 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So he's very average for that receiving core. I think it really just comes down to managing the turnovers, not turning the ball over, being okay with 3 and outs. And that line is probably about right. I know that some of us think it's going to go over. but I wouldn't be shocked to see it again go under that 43.5 total. Colts need this. Both teams are technically in playoff contention. The Colts really need this one, or it's kind of the season's kind of over for them. So
for sure. Kevin back, Vegas coach, deserves the job. He's a dog. You are absolutely right. He had that.
I agree.
It watching that defense play last week. I'm not a huge defensive guy, but that was just fun. They're physical as hell. Ramey, you talked about the turnovers being the key to the game. I think something to it. I even wrote it down as the X factor is Pittman.
Yep.
You know, if he plays, I like Indy. If he doesn't, I would probably backtrack on that a little bit.
Sure.
I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Farva being able to come in to Indy and dominate. JT, I think he's a low running back 1, high running back 2. Raiders have been pretty stingy against the run over the last 5 games. They've only allowed 100 total rushing yards once. So we'll see how that plays out. I think, though, just again, like Pittman being in there is going to be key, and you don't want Uncle Rico chucking it 40 times. I don't care if it's at home. That is not a winning formula for the Colts. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun.
So Jonathan Taylor's played the Raiders with the Colts the last 3 seasons, and he's gone over 100 yards each time he's played them. 62 carries for 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's a big key to this game too. And I know that Raiders defense is playing really well, but if they're going to win, you're absolutely right. We've talked about it before. Minshew needs to be in the 25 to 28 attempt range. Anything over 30, and that spells disaster for the Colts. So, but I mean, I go back and forth because I really talk down on Gardner Minshew, but he's done so much more than anybody could expect in that position as a quarterback. So I need to adjust my expectations a little bit. I'm thankful that he was there to be able to take them as far as they have, but also we need to know his limitations and make sure that the Colts game plan for that.
Maybe he won't be on the field very much because the Raiders just want to run the football and play fun.
Yeah.
Great defense. The Raiders are road underdogs. Colts have been kind of leaky against the run the last 5 games. What are they? 4.8 yards per carry to running backs, 29th in the league since then. Josh Jacobs was an estimated non-participant for the walkthrough today. So maybe Zamir White gets another day in the sun.
He's looked good the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he looked very good last week for sure. But if Jacobs misses time, I like Zamir White again this week against the Colts.
Yeah. And the weakness of that Raiders defense is the run game. They've allowed more than 120 yards a game. Yeah. They've almost allowed 2,000 yards rushing this year as a defense in whole. Now, knowing that they've gotten better over the last 8 weeks or so, but also the last 5 matchups between these 2 teams, the road team has won each time.
Yeah.
And the Colts aren't particularly good at home.
You think Davante Adams rebounds from last week's just abysmal showing?
I do. I don't think he'll go off by any means, but I think he'll have a more Davante. I think he'll have like a 6 for 80 and a touchdown, something like that.
I kind of like Jacoby Myers this week too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Colts play cover 3 at the highest rate in the league, and Davante Adams eats it, and it gets even better with O'Connell actually under center. 36% of the targets and 58% of the air yards against cover 3 for Adams. So I don't know. Myers, maybe low ceiling flex this week, I guess. He needs to get in the end zone. What are you cheesing about?
You froze.
Oh, did I? Fantastic. Great. Oh,
You're
yep,
back.
the symbol's up. Great. Fantastic. I love it. Fucking bullshit. Downs, I don't expect anything from him. He did have 9 targets last week, but the Raiders are damn good against receivers, slot receivers. Yeah, I wouldn't go with that either. All right. What else we got?
Just one couple of other things. Steichen is trying to become the 5th consecutive non-interim coach for the Colts to make the playoffs in his first season.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, which is weird.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Minshew is 6-5 this year as a starter, and he needs, if he gets one more win, that'll be the most wins he's ever had as a starter in a season. So,
oh shit,
Jacksonville.
Ramey digging deep.
Yep.
Digging deep.
Yep. Pittman's 99 receptions this season are more than the Colts' next two receivers have combined.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Josh Downs has 63 and Alec Pierce has 31. Yeah. It's Pittman or bust. Matt, you hit the nail on the head. Outside of the turnovers, or on par with the turnovers, Pittman's.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah,
Well,
that was a
really good time.
disaster. What the fuck was he
We've been
thinking?
doing this podcast then.
Yeah. Oh God. Just would have been a bitch fest. All right, let's go. Let's move on.
They did right the ship and get the right coach in there, though. Thank God they didn't go with him full time.
That was a good hire. Steichen.
Yeah.
Great hire.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Dolphins travel to Baltimore. Ugh. This game, I just don't know how it's going to go. I still expect
Waddle?
a decent game from Lamar. Waddle's out, right?
Yeah, and I think I know the Ravens are much better than they are now, but the last time Tua and the Dolphins played them, I think Tua threw
6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I remember
he's shown that he can do it, but again, this defense is much better than it was the last time they played. So
yeah, that was that combined for 80 points. He threw for 6 touchdowns for 469 in Baltimore last year. But the Baltimore's defense last year is not what it is this year.
No.
And Tua had a healthy Jalen Waddle. And Gesicki, a tight end who was involved in the offense too. Don't forget about that. He had a good game that game as well. So I expect Lamar to have a still pretty damn good game. The pressure is going to get to him. Miami steadily climbed up to 3rd in pressure rate, 42%. And they now lead the NFL with a sack rate of 9.3%, which I was shocked to learn.
Yep.
He's going to be under duress. He better. But you saw the other night, he just spins out of it, runs out of it, makes a play with his legs, gets some area to throw, makes a play with his arm. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, how should I feel about ARSB to finish with most catches in the league, assuming Keenan out rest the season? CeeDee 109, Tyreek 106, ARSB 106, and Pittman 99. Is this, Kevin, did you have the bet about that? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
The other night?
I think so.
Pittman ain't going to pass him. Tyreek, I think they're going to bracket the shit out of him. He's going to be double and triple team all day tomorrow. He's still it's not like they're not going to throw to him, but I think he's going to be entirely big play dependent. CeeDee is the biggest competition for you in this, but damn, ARSB just gets fed constantly. Yeah, I'd feel good about it. I think CeeDee is obviously the favorite. He's got, a little bit of a lead here over the past couple of weeks, but if I was going to take anybody out of that group to overtake him, it would be ARSB.
So would you be worried about that bet if the Lions go down and beat the Cowboys and lock up the number 2 seed? I know a lot of things would have to happen, but there's a chance ARSB wouldn't play in week 18, right?
So right now, they're not eliminated for the number 1 seed. Assuming both, Detroit, Philly, and San Fran win this weekend, it's still up for grabs next week.
Okay.
It is?
Yeah. They all have the same record. If Detroit wins out and Philly and San Fran each lose a game.
Oh, you may okay. Earlier you said Detroit lost, Dallas won. I thought you said so. I was confused.
No, I said. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said if
Matt
they go down
did. Matt
win.
did. They must beat Dallas to have a shot at the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
for sure. Kevin says they'll probably sit their starters. It could happen. I think it would be smart of Dan Campbell to rest some starters if there's no chance for the 1 seed and everything's wrapped up and whether you're going to play the Seahawks or the Rams or whoever.
Yeah. So
look at Hendon Hooker.
Back to this.
Hendon Hooker. I don't like Tua this week. I don't really like Tua this week though.
Yeah.
Not against Baltimore's defense.
You talked about the Miami defense. Since week 5, Miami's defense is best in the NFL with allowing just over 15 points a game. So they've played
a lot
much better.
Oh, dude, and Ramsey has been amazing since he come back. Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I know the offensive line for Miami is still banged up. I didn't look at the injuries for them yet, but that could be a concern this week. Man, how do you feel about Gus Edwards?
I think you're going to start him if you have to, but you're hoping for a touchdown.
Definitely. Yeah. 11 of his 12 touchdowns are within the 5-yard line. 11 of 12. Miami's been pretty good at defending backfields, allowing 3.81 yards per carry, 8th in the league. They've allowed just 2 rushing touchdowns to running backs over the last 8 games, both of them coming in the same game.
Baltimore's
playing well.
Yeah. Baltimore's rushed for at least 100 yards in 31 straight games.
It's pretty good.
We gotta
strength versus strength.
Strength versus strength. But
yeah.
Looking at Miami's run game though, like on paper, it's a tough ass matchup. But you look what San Francisco was able to do last week. 121 yards, 6.7 yards a carry. Now, granted, it's Christian McCaffrey, and you got to understand that there's some garbage time worked in there as well. But I mean, they still did it. Mostert is one of the most explosive running backs in the league, and Achane is right there with him. Mostert's been great for you all season long. You're not going to sit him. I think you need to temper expectations a bit this week. I think he's a mid running back too. Achane is a high upside flex. He's not been what he was earlier in the season, and he's missed some time due to injury, and I imagine that's sapped a little bit from him as well. But, at the same time, we've also seen just exactly what he can do with the ball, even on limited touches. I doubt you've got better options.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
Got a question in the chat.
George Play is back. Welcome back, George. He needs a defense for this week. Bears, Raiders, Eagles, Broncos, Rams, or Chiefs.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to eliminate the Broncos immediately.
Are you against the Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay. I like the Bears. I like the Bears out of all those at home.
I do too. This feels like a game where Atlanta's going to shit the bed and not do it. It's like a Bijan 8-touch game.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but the Bears have been so much better. Very good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They're at home. It's the Falcons. What do you think, Matt? Maybe Rams?
I'm going to go with the Bears.
The Giants? Bears? Okay.
I'm going to take the Bears going against Atlanta. I don't give a shit if it's Taylor Heineke or that other asshole that's proven he can't play in the league. The Bears defense, as the season has gone along, has improved drastically. They are one hell of a defensive unit there. We've got them ranked 6th this week, and if I had to choose amongst all them, I'm confidently starting Chicago.
Yep. Agreed.
Good luck, George.
Yeah. He also has the Chiefs available, but I think I'd still play the Bears over the Chiefs against especially if Chase plays.
And he was what? He was limited today.
Yeah.
I saw. Having T. Higgins in my second flex this week. Don't really have any other options. Would be like Hollywood. Doubt he plays Spears or London.
I'm not starting London. Spears, I think, is like a low-end running back 3 this week. T. Higgins, look, if Chase doesn't play, he's going to see a lot of Snead, and Snead has been fantastic this year. But those 2 options that you have, or those 3 options down there, I don't know that I would start any of them. I'd listen to an argument for Spears, but I don't know how much I'd buy into it.
I feel like this is like this is that tinker period, Kevin, where you start and you look and it's just like Matt was kind of doing this weekend with his Pickens mistake. All the data
it was the right choice.
It was all the data said. I'm defending you. But I still think Higgins is your best bet out of all those. You get caught up in thinking and digging and looking, and sometimes you just end up fucking yourself. I definitely don't like London. I don't think Spears will get enough touches to warrant the points you're looking for.
They're going against Houston as well.
Yeah, that's not a recipe for success.
Nope.
Go with Higgins. You're going to hold your nose and do it, but again, Spears no, London no, Hollywood no. You're hoping he breaks one or scores a touchdown or something, but I'm starting him with more confidence than any of those other guys, for sure.
Agreed.
Don't outsmart yourself.
Yeah. Another player for the Dolphins-Ravens might be good. Zay Flowers. Maybe. Had season high 13 targets last week. He now has 4 end zone targets since Andrews got hurt, after having 0 when Andrews was around. That's nice. You like that.
I do.
But with Jalen Ramsey around and that defensive backfield, Miami could be tough, but I still like him for at least 8 targets this week.
Yeah.
Maybe 7. I'll say 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough on the outside for both him and OBJ. You know, we've talked about Ramsey. Xavier Howard is no slouch himself.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're just not going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And Isaiah likely is not the answer.
No.
Nope.
Flowers only needs 90 yards to break the Ravens rookie receiving record of 841, set by.
What was the question? I missed it.
I have no idea.
I was already reading it. The next thing I was going to talk about. So,
Flowers only needs 90 yards to set to break the Ravens rookie receiving record. Torrey Smith.
Yeah. Fuck. Yep. Damn.
Torrey Smith.
It was right there. Oh, well.
Yep.
All right. We're running past here.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Saints at Bucs. Matt chose this game for the NFC division. Word I can't think of.
South?
Yeah, thanks. Jesus, Baker Mayfield's been on fire.
Remember when you said you weren't high enough before we were on here?
Yeah, I just perfect. Mayfield's he's in the slot. Mayfield has now thrown multiple touchdowns in 7 of his past 9 games. He's pacing for a career high in completion percentage. Jeez, I can't talk. Saints. They're kind of tough against passing points. They've only averaged 12 a game, 6 in the league. But they've allowed some big points to Stafford, Goff. Not big points, decent points.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like Mayfield this week at Saints?
Yes,
I do. Yeah, I like him a lot. That Saints defense has just been getting worse and worse as the season's gone on. So these two teams have combined to win the past 6 NFC South division championships. Bucs can clinch if they win, and they'll get a home playoff game and potentially be a 9-8. They won't be an under 500 division winner, but
right,
they'd be hosting a playoff game probably against the Cowboys most likely. So these teams have kind of gone back and forth over the past few years, trying to control the division. But I kind of roundabouted your question, but I do think Baker's going to have a good game against that Saints secondary.
That they played in week 4 and he threw 3 touchdowns.
He's a different quarterback now, man.
Well, the Saints were a different defense. The Saints defense was extremely healthier than it is now at that time. That's the only game this season that New Orleans has given up more than 2 touchdown passes.
And it was in New Orleans.
Yeah, I like Baker this week. Damn.
You know, you were talking about them being stingy earlier. Look at the teams they played: Carolina, the Giants, Atlanta. Those passing offenses aren't scaring anybody. They played Stafford and got their dicks knocked in the dirt. I'm not a huge Baker guy, but he's been playing damn well. He's a QB9 since week 12. I think they just have too much firepower for the Saints. I like Rachaad White this week as a volume-based RB1. They're vulnerable to running backs here lately. This isn't the Saints defense of old that we're used to seeing over the past several years being incredibly stingy. I think I mentioned Tuesday, I'm kind of disappointed I don't get to see Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans go at it. I like him. I like Mike Evans. I really like this whole offense for Tampa minus, Kate Otten. Chris Godwin, I'm not thrilled to start. He does have 10 plus points in 3 straight games, so he's coming on a little bit. We'll see. I mean, if you have to start him, look, you do what you got to do. You're hoping for another 10 points out of him. Mike Evans, I'm throwing out there with confidence. I think he's a mid-wide receiver 1 this week.
Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Future
Saints
Hall of Famer Mike Evans.
Saints got to fire their coach. Imagine if Wilson and Olave had good QBs. Yep. Yeah. Dennis Allen's a good defense coordinator, but not a good head coach.
Coach didn't sign Carr to 4 years, $160 million.
Well,
not the coach's fault.
Oh well.
You having fun there, Kyle?
My mouse moved. I don't know what happened there. Hey, Randy, how you doing? Welcome back to the show. Jerome Ford or Chuba Hubbard? Ugh. I don't really I was kind of high on Chuba Hubbard, but the Jaguars, they can't stop the pass for shit, but they've still been stout against the run. 3.7 yards per carry to running backs, 5th in the league. I don't know. And Hubbard doesn't passes out of the backfield. Yeah, Jaguars can't do it, but Chuba Hubbard doesn't do that.
Yeah. And the way to beat the Jets is on the ground. So Jerome Ford is kind of primed, but he's been splitting carries more and more and not getting the share that he has in the past. This sounds like a let's go to the rankings with Matt.
So I'm going Chuba Hubbard. He's our running back 23 this week. Jerome Ford is down at running back 31. And that is a product of opportunity.
Touches.
Right? Jerome, looking at Chuba Hubbard over the past 4 weeks, he's taking 70% of the rush attempts. He's running 45% of routes. So he's out there, he's making moves, he's playing 70% of snaps, he's out there all the damn time. And when you're dealing with a decision like this, where it's 2 guys who are just kind of okay, take the dude who's going to have more opportunity to do something.
Yeah. That makes sense. Over the past 5 weeks, he's had 110 total touches. That's just 3rd in the NFL and among running backs behind Kyron Williams and Rachaad White.
It's almost like the Panthers got a new coach and decided to go with the players that give them the best chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they have their 1st-round pick, so who cares?
Well, what the hell's Bryce Young doing out there then?
He's better than
getting
Red
experience,
Rifle.
I suppose. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard for us, man. Randy, good luck with your matchup this week. Hopefully you can get yourself a championship if you're at that point in your league. Any more?
I think Derek Carr's got a good matchup.
Yeah, I certainly do. That's why he's my ace this week.
Yeah, Bucs have allowed 250 yards passing in 4 of 6 games in 3 straight. They're bottom 3rd in the league against QBs.
Yeah, if that doesn't get you excited to stream Carr this week, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I think he's a mid QB2 with upside, depending on how this game goes.
Yeah, and we've seen Tampa Bay and their new pass funnel defense they have there, so not very good.
So if you had to choose, who would you rather start, Rachaad White or Alvin Kamara?
White.
Yeah, I'd go White. Also, he's been playing really well.
It's the touches and the opportunities. I know Alvin Kamara's not far behind there, but some of the game scripts is kind of taking him out recently.
I like Kamara to score a touchdown this week. Buccaneers are bottom 3rd in red zone points allowed to running backs this season. So I think he's got a good chance there. I'm going to go with White too. Just what we were just talking about. Go with the opportunity.
Yeah. Bucs are allowing 9.8 rushing points per game to back, 6th in the league. They played in week 4. Kamara rushed 11 times for 51 yards. That's the game he caught 13 receptions that day, but it was only for 33 yards. He didn't do shit with it. I expect Carr to throw the ball downfield more in this rematch that he did in week 4. Nobody
Piss
agrees.
on Derek Carr.
Let's move
and
on.
You're starting Olave and you're starting Evans and and Godwin. Maybe Godwin hasn't played in the slot as much as he has in years past. It's only like a third of his snaps are in the slot this year. It was different the last few years.
Oh, I thought that it was going to be Godwin that had the connection with Baker coming into the year.
Same. Yep. And it was not, except for that game a couple weeks ago. All right, Steelers Seahawks. 2 8-7 teams.
The teams that won't die.
Yeah.
Shithawks.
Is Mason Rudolph he's starting again. Ugh.
Yeah, he is.
It looks like a good matchup on paper.
It does. I don't think so.
The Rams have been, or I'm sorry, the Steelers. I don't know why in the hell I wrote Rams, and I say everything I see here. So, yeah, I don't trust Mason Rudolph as far as I could throw him. I don't trust George Pickens. Like, that shit ain't happening again. If you have George Pickens, don't slam him in your lineup chasing last week's stats. That shit ain't going to happen again. I promise you that. No. If that shit happens again, I'm done. I give up. I ain't giving anybody any advice and anything at all for the rest of my life because clearly I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
The Steelers' 2 biggest passing games this season have both come against the Bengals. Don't start him. Definitely don't. All right, what do we got here? Ray Gamer. Welcome back to the show, man. Gerald Everett versus Broncos on the road. Kraft versus Vikings on the road. Okonkwo versus the Texans on the road, or Juwan Johnson versus the Bucs on the road. Pick 2 in a standard. Oh, hold on. That's a second question.
Yep.
I like Gerald Everett. He's got 8 targets each of the last 3 weeks. The Broncos are dead last against tight ends. Yep. You've got Easton Stick in there who, look, he's not Justin Herbert. If Gerald Everett can get open.
It was kind.
Right. I trust him to get him the ball. Keenan Allen, like, who knows what the hell is going on with him. They might as well just shut his ass down. Like, there's really nobody else to throw to. I like Gerald Everett and I like Austin Eckler this week. And that's pretty much all I like in that Chargers offense. But just given the other options you've got here, I think Everett has the best chance to get you some success and the points you need to go win that ship, Ray.
Yeah, I think you said that perfectly. I second that.
It is confirmed.
And Ray, pick 2 in standard, 6 points per touchdown. Breece Hall, Jaden Reed, Brandon Cooks, D. Robinson, or Zamir White versus the Colts.
Ooh. I like Zamir White against the Colts if Jacobs doesn't play.
Same.
Yep.
Jaden Reed, we still don't know if he's going to play.
Cooks is so hit and miss that somebody that might have added him as an ace is really taking a long shot. I mean, it's boom or bust with him, and he's so touchdown dependent, right? Like,
yeah, yep. I mean, a matchup's good with the Lions, but out of all these players listed here, I will concur. Zamir White's the way to go if Josh is out.
We need to pick one more.
I almost think Breece, just because he's going to get such a big volume.
Yeah. And I get that it's a standard league and you're not going to get the points for the receptions he's going to get, but he's going to get receptions and he can do something with the ball once he gets it. I trust him to get you 8 points more than I trust Jaden Reed or Brandon Cooks.
His other starters are going to be Hurts, Eckler, Montgomery, Brandon Aubrey, and Browns defense and Olave.
Yeah, it
That's
sucks
pretty good.
to put in
That's
a
pretty
running
good.
back against your defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
there's
like
that.
kissing your sister.
But I mean, to me, that's not a reason to sit Breece Hall.
Exactly.
No, because Breece Hall could have 85 yards and a touchdown, and it could be the only touchdown the Jets score.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
cool.
I'm going with the two running backs there, Ray.
Yep.
Agree. Good luck with your matchup, Ray, man. Get yourself a championship. Get yourself a trophy.
So,
go ahead.
Do you guys know what would happen if the Steelers win this game against the Seahawks?
Nope.
Mike Tomlin would have a winning season. Did you know that Mike Tomlin's never not had a winning season?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you know that he is the only third coach of the Steelers in the last 5 decades?
76 years. Yeah.
But getting serious here, Kenneth Walker, I like him this week against Pittsburgh. They've been vulnerable to backs as of late. They allowed 74 yards to Cincinnati backs last week, but your Zach Moss destroyed them early. Zeke Elliott, they allowed 140 yards, 130 yards to the Arizona backfield as well. These games in the last 3 weeks. So I really like Kenneth Walker this week. He gets a lot of touches too. At least, a 17 would be a low end, I would think. Or probably right about right. 15 to 20.
Yeah. I like Najee in this game too. He seems to be playing better with Mason Rudolph back there just because they can actually throw the ball. I know that Mason Rudolph's not the answer at quarterback, but it has opened up that running game for Pittsburgh, and I think Najee's going to have a decent game. So,
yeah, he's a volume-based play.
I think he will have a decent game if Pittsburgh can control the game script. When they're tied or ahead this season, he outtouches Warren 113 to 71. But when they're behind, it's not good for Najee. I see them playing from behind in this game. Might be rough for Najee.
I mean, the Shithawks have allowed nearly 500 yards rushing in the past 4 weeks and 3
true.
touchdowns.
We'll
so
see.
There's opportunity there on the ground, but it's going to be game script dependent.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
I think it's going to be an ugly game.
Probably.
I'm out on Geno and Locke or whoever the hell they run out there. I don't really give two shits.
I think I like Pittsburgh plus 3.5 though. It feels like one of those games Seattle's just going to squeak by.
Yeah. What else do I like? I think you start Metcalf.
Yeah.
He's going to be shadowed by Porter. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah. He's still just good. JSN has just come up over the season as well. He hasn't posted more than 60-some yards, 63 yards in a game, but he's a positive draw this week. Been second on the team with targets, 24% of targets against man coverage. Pittsburgh plays a lot of man coverage.
They do, and the Steelers have been, a top defense against wide receivers here over the past month. I do think Lockett, if they can get him matched up on Peterson with the right play call, could do a little bit of damage. I'm not really running any of those receivers out there just jumping for joy. I think DK is their best option, and he's a mid-wide receiver too. Yeah.
Do you start Pickens this week or?
Yep, I want another 40 points.
All right. Devin Witherspoon's tracking to be back as well this week. So, don't do that.
That's actually my lock is Pickens under 260 or however many he had. 195 yards receiving.
That's a good one. That's solid.
Firmly under.
Now, if I have to play a receiver, I'm playing Deontay Johnson. He might see a bit of Witherspoon too. Just there's nobody in that passing offense though that I'm really thrilled about. And if you find you're having to start one of those two, Pickens or Johnson, congratulations on making it this far with them, because you are one hell of a fantasy manager.
Freiermuth, I wouldn't start him this week if you could help it. Yeah. That's all I got. That's all I got, man.
Doesn't Pittsburgh feel like a place that Russ Wilson's going to play next year?
Or Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt said Atlanta. That's not a bad guess either. Could happen.
Falcons country, let's fly.
He's gonna head east after spending all his career out west. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our aces and deuces. Anybody want to go first? Don't all jump at once, fellas.
I'll go since I've already talked about mine. He'll make it quick.
Sure.
My first ace is Bucs quarterback Baker Mayfield. As we talked about, he is hot right now, and he's going against a Saints defense that has kind of fallen off as the year goes on. Still a decent defense, but he's just been so hot that I'm going to ride the hot hand and play him as my ace this week. So if you've got him, put him in your lineup. The Saints pass rush has kind of fallen off too. With the weapons that he has, and just for whatever reason, he seems to kind of have put it all together this year with the Buccaneers. I think Baker's going to have a good game. So he's my first ace. My second ace, this one's a bit of a risky one. Cowboys wide receiver Brandon Cooks. And I think this is more about the Lions secondary than it is about Brandon Cooks' ability to produce a big game on a consistent basis. CeeDee is going to get his, but if this game goes to kind of a shootout, I look for Brandon Cooks to have a decent game. And as I mentioned before, it's very touchdown dependent, but if he gets that touchdown, he's going to give you really good production. So that's why he's my ace. I'm going to lean on him this week.
Yeah, that's ballsy at 35 and 45. Yeah, super ballsy.
Thank you. Let's hear yours, Kyle. Speaking of ballsy.
All right, I'll go with mine. Why the hell not? Yeah, I'm trying to beat Matt.
Christian McCaffrey.
No, I haven't picked him all season. That's not a good one. My first one is Saints quarterback Derek Carr. Been pretty solid over the last couple of weeks. He's been averaging almost 269 passing yards, and he threw for 3 touchdowns in both games. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're giving up a NFL high of 264 passing yards a game. As long as he can take care of the ball, I like him this week. What'd I say?
That was Matt.
Oh,
he was saying what I was thinking.
And then Brandon Ayuk, he's a must-start option this week against the Commanders.
Whoa.
I know. I went out of stretch on this one. Second most yards. Washington has allowed the second most yards, touchdowns, and fantasy points per game to wide receivers. And the Redskins really struggle against the long ball, and that's Ayuk's specialty.
Commanders.
Oh, God, did I say Redskins?
Yeah, you just said it again, too.
You won one of your tirades.
Yeah.
I always say, like, for the Raiders, I say Oakland a lot. I'll say San Diego a lot. You grow up, and it's this way for years, and everything changes. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Okay, Grandpa. This doesn't make it okay now.
Yeah, damn, boomer.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the memory care ward soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for my first ace, and I'm really kind of questioning if the branch is strong enough to hold my fat ass up that I'm going out on here. Justin Jefferson.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Packers are just getting destroyed through the air over the last month. Jair Alexander just got suspended for being a dipshit. And this is, a must-win home game if they have any thought of making the playoffs. I see they are going to run Jaron Hall out there. We'll see how it works out. Next pick, DeAndre Swift. Cardinals have been getting killed on the ground lately, giving up 188 rushing yards a game and 3 touchdowns over the past 4 games. If there's ever a huge game in DeAndre Swift, this is going to be it.
Nice.
Is this the Aces and Deuces version of playing prevent defense?
Yes. It absolutely is. I have the lead, and I'm going to maintain that lead.
Yeah. I saw that pick come through, and I'm like, this motherfucker. Anyway, let's run around. Go ahead.
My first deuce is Browns quarterback Joe Flacco. He's been really good, and Kyle threw out some stats. If you project his production out over 17 games. He's on pace for like 5,500 yards and 60 touchdowns with 30 picks.
43 touchdowns.
43, yeah.
30
yeah.
picks.
30 season.
I think he'll have a decent game, but I don't think he's going to do well against that Jets defense, especially because the way to beat the Jets defense is on the ground. So I think not that I think he's going to shit the bed by any means, but he's not going to have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Amari Cooper being out the last hour and a half or so really helps this pick too. So I just think that the Browns offense is going to do enough to get in and get out with a victory. So not put up a ton of points tonight. So my second one, Bears running back Khalil Herbert. He had a decent game last week, but the Bears offensive coordinator and offensive game plan does not consider it to fantasy football. They have a 3-headed, I'm not going to say monster, but they have a 3-headed backfield there. Monster would be too kind to them. So
nice.
D'Onta Foreman looks to be coming back, so I would not count on Herbert to have any kind of consistent production at all. The way just going off historically what the Bears running game has looked like this season, it seems like it's just a revolving door, and they don't care who gets the production as long as your name's not Justin Fields. You're just not going to touch the ball on the ground that much. So don't fade Khalil Herbert this week.
Yeah, because he had 20 touches, I think, last week.
Yeah, he had a really good game. But it's just, I don't know. They just don't want to stick with one back, which I guess is fine. But
it's not fine for fantasy, damn it.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Get with the program, Bears.
Yeah.
But all right. My first deuce is Titans running back Derek Henry. He already faced the Texans a couple weeks ago and did garbage. The Texans haven't allowed a running back to rush for more than 56 yards in their past 5 games. That includes meetings with Etienne, Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, Derek Henry, of course, and Jerome Ford. I just don't like him. Don't start him. And in all the years past, the last few years past, you always started Derek Henry against the Texans. Always.
Mm-hmm. And the Jags.
Yeah, and the Jags. But
real quick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no,
I want to go back to Tuesday. We talked about the Cowboys and how Tony Pollard needs Derek Henry would be good on the Cowboys as that first and second.
Yeah,
back.
Sure. Yep.
So
I like it. But yeah, Henry's just not good this week. He only averages 10.1 PPR points per game in 7 road outings this year. You need him to score. I don't see it happening. My second one, Saquon Barkley, Giants running back. Listen, I get it. It's difficult to bench him in the majority of leagues, but it's also difficult to use a running back against the Rams lately. They're number 2 in fantasy, fewest fantasy points allowed to running backs. They're number 1 against the position in the last 5 games. It's a no-go, but it's tough. It's Barkley. You probably should start him, but don't expect much. Matt?
You know who's also been badass against the run? The Detroit Lions, and that spells bad news for Tony Pollard. He ain't gonna do dick this week. I promise you that. I promise you that. And even if they get down into the red zone and on the goal line, he still ain't doing shit. He's got like 2 touchdowns on 15 attempts. He ain't doing nothing. The way to beat the Lions is through the air. They have a more than competent pass offense with Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. Tony Pollard, he's one of my biggest busts of the year. Like, dude just has not been doing it. If you need a floor of if you just need 10 points, you need 11 points, like, all right, I'll entertain it. The big thing is, like, who knows if you really have somebody better available on your bench to put in. I'm not saying necessarily have to bench him, just lower your damn expectations. That was kind of long-winded. My second deuce, Jordan Love. Vikings blitz more than anybody else, and Jordan Love really, really, really struggles when he is pressured. He is going to see an ass load of pressure this week. The Vikings have to win this game if they want to make the playoffs. I mean, the Packers are still in the hunt too. He looked like ass in his first game against Minnesota. I mean, it was arguably his worst game of the season. I'm not looking for him to do a whole hell of a lot better this time around either, especially with all the injuries that they've had at the wide receiver position.
Nice. Who's got a good bet?
I got a good one. It's kind of out there, but I like it. I'm going to take the Panthers plus 6.5 at the Jaguars.
It's 6 now.
Oh, dang it.
Dang.
Why do I'm
that.
influencing the line. This is not. I'm taking them at 6.5. I'll take them at 6 too. What the hell? The Jaguars look like a sinking ship. Trevor Lawrence may not play. His latest injury is that AC joint sprain that put Anthony Richardson on the surgery table. But he's shown that he can come back. But his play has also shown that the injuries are really starting to pile up against him. And between that, the receiving depth taking a hit with Christian Kirk being out, ETN not being the running back he was at the start of the year, and just that the Panthers seem to play a little bit more fiery with passion, playing a little bit better since firing their coach. If you're looking for one, I got nothing to lose. I'm not going to win this competition. So let's swing for the fences. Let's go Panthers plus 6.
Nice.
All right. My lock. I went a little crazy. We'll see what you guys think about this one. But I say Raiders at Colts goes over. Indianapolis is tied with the Lions, actually, with a league best 10-5 to the over this season. And they've had 43 or more points scored in each of their last 4 home games. I think the Raiders offense, what are they, like 25th ranked or something? They should have an easier time versus the below average Colts defense. It's indoors. I see it going over.
Nice. All right. Don't let him bullshit you, folks, because his original lock was Niners on the money line over the Commies.
The fuck it was. Could you imagine if we would have done? Oh, Jesus! If you guys would have sent that over, I'd have just laughed you out and said, "Send another one."
All right, my lock of the week: Lions plus 5.5 at the Cowboys. And look, you're going to hear this all the time. Bet with your head, not your heart. This week, fuck that. Lions are going to Dallas. I already shit all over Tony Pollard. Might as well shit all over the rest of the team. Lions are going down there and getting a dub.
That'd be a big road win at the end of the season. Or, not the last week, but I love it.
I hope it happens.
I do too.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Reborn Jungle is here. What's up, man? Welcome back to the show. Leaving this pretty late. Start 2 running back. Oh, yeah, shoot. Brees, JT, or Bijan?
I'm starting Bijan for sure.
Yeah,
well, I mean, against the Bears,
you still are, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to go with JT and Bijan.
Just because of Bijan's receptions of out of the back. I still like JT or Bijan. Both.
I'll go JT, but I'm going to go Brees. I think Brees is the only way the Jets offense operates tonight. So I know the Browns defense is bad. Bijan's not a bad option by any means, but I would go with Brees. But if you go Bijan, you don't have to argue it to me to go with Bijan, but JT for sure, just because of his history against the Raiders. And they're going to run the ball a lot.
He currently has JT and Brees in, so he must be in your line of thinking there. And
which is not necessarily a good thing.
Right, but this is the Arthur Smith coached Atlanta Falcons. Could just give Bijan 8 or 9 touches.
That is true.
And I don't know what the weather's going to look like this weekend either. It sucks that you got your other guy going tonight, but yeah, it's tough. And Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah. Good luck, brother.
Yeah, good luck, man. I know we're kind of split there a little bit, but don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
You have JT and Brees in. I leave it if I'm you.
Did you just change yours?
I did.
Okay.
Sure did. I hate Arthur Smith. He's going to get canned because he can't use his guys right. Yeah, I like JT and Brees. And then later tonight at 11 o'clock, there'll be a text, and it'll be like, Brees had 7 points. Dubo joining at the last second, getting in, man. Go Lions. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
He's been here.
Has he? Oh, my bad. Yeah. Oh, I must have missed
day one. He's a day one.
I suck. I'm sorry. I apologize, man. All right, let's go watch some football, I guess, if
Yep.
you can call it that.
Let's do it.
Cool. We'll
right.
be back, Sunday? Sunday at 11:30 for Tinker Time. Help you win that championship. So 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Rankings are already up on the website, stonedownsportspodcast.com. Check those out to help you out. Always hit us up on the comments on this video or through the socials. We'll help you anytime, any day, so you can get that championship this week. Otherwise, I think we're out. We'll see you guys on Sunday morning at 11:30. Have a great night, folks.
AM Eastern.
Standard.
Bye.
Bye now.